Michael mentioned that when we started discussing the Grenada Invitational, he sent an email to the Prime Minister and he responded within 15 minutes. Subsequent to that, a cabinet reshuffle was announced. And I said, oh, here we go again. Politics getting in the way of plans. And we waited until the reshuffle was announced and the various portfolios were announced. And I think we were trying to call each other at the same time because we were ecstatic that the Honorable Roland Bhola was given the portfolio of sports. And to date, he has not filled our excitement. And he has been on board, in his words, 110% so far. So I'm excited that he's on board with the Grenada Invitational, and I invite Honorable Roland Bhola to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mitchell. And I'm very careful when I speak about Mitchell. I need to say with some level of respect, if you understand. I want to recognize Mr. Brown as he's been nicknamed the fireman, yes, and of course Michael Bascom, members of the LOC, potential sponsors, members of the media, and of course sitting right at the back for whatever reason, a former Minister of Sports himself, Mr. Simmons. I didn't recognize that you had a new glasses. I almost didn't make you okay. Or you're getting younger.
Your eyes going bad.
I believe that might be the problem. Be that as it may, I really feel, you know, the warmth and enjoyment of being here. It's really a pleasure, and I'm happy to see so many faces at this morning's launch. Before Dexter and I had our first encounter, the Honorable Prime Minister called me to a little session one morning and he said to me, there are a group of guys that are planning this event, and they had an initial meeting and he felt that is something that we should support. And in his normal words, sometimes when he speaks to his ministers, he said, Bhola, I need you to take this one and run with it. So, I mean, I don't think I had a choice. So the 10% over the 100 is what came from the Prime Minister. I know he's giving you his 100% support. We need to look, ladies and gentlemen, at this event as one with special interest, one of its kind. Because I was there for a while thinking, and then I asked Michael a while ago, do you think there'd ever be a time or chance, looking at the region, that we might be able to host an Olympic Games? And, you know, he chuckled a little bit and he said he doesn't think so. So I think here we have an opportunity to bring to the region, and to Grenada in particular, what we may not otherwise be able to do in terms of holding an Olympic Games. And I see it from that prospect. I see the Grenadian Invitational as doing exactly what I think the philosophy of our government wants. It cannot be government alone. I do not know that the government has the capacity, has the human and financial resource to pull something like that off all by itself. And that is why when government decides to make an investment in sports, we oftentimes say to people, we are doing it on many occasions, being cognizant of the fact that the funds that you're putting into the facilities and the development of facilities, and of course sometimes training, could be spent otherwise in areas that arguably the public might say is much more necessary to be spent. There's another thing that we need to remember is that the dividends from the investment in sports takes a while to come. But I think this one, for us in Grenada, would be a big payoff. And that's the context in which I want us to see this event. And that is why we need to have support from every angle. I remember recently when we had the secondary school games, moving away from the character, only recently. One of the athletes from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I recall, speaking on a one-on-one with me. ask, why can't we do more? You have such a lovely facility here in Grenada to have more regional competitions where athletes from the region can come together much more often to compete with one another. Wonderful idea, but all of us would know in terms of the cost and to bring everyone together, it is not always easy. I believe the world will want to support us. I believe that the involvement of Chris Brown to help us sell this event and to promote it internationally would give us an opportunity to showcase Grenada. And the positive spill-off effects of it can be tremendous. Mr. Grant from the tourism aspect did speak about our taxi drivers and hoteliers, and so getting a greater opportunity in a time when it's not normally the real height of the tourist season. But I don't want to break it down further than that. Our farmers or regular vendors at the village level, because I recall a discussion with Mr. Mitchell. We spoke about this, the week leading up to the games. It should be a week when there should be a lot of sporting activities. The intercall and everything preceding that in the same week. And hoping that we can be in a position to bring the athletes in, a couple of days before the event itself. So they'll have an opportunity to go to Fish Friday. Hope they wouldn't drink too much because, when the Grenadian locals beat them up, we don't want them to say the Grenadian don't cause that. We want them to have a good time and a good experience. And Grenadians being who they are, would always try to make it a good event for them. I'm happy as Minister with responsibility for sports, but speaking now on behalf of government, we are extremely happy to be partnering with local individuals, with other people. And I did say when we initially made the announcement that this event was not the brainchild of the Ministry of Sports, nor the government, and we have to give credit where it is due, and that it was private sector individual, but we have accepted it and come on board and would want to support it 100%. I want to make a request though, because Mr. Peters will tell you in recent times we've been having a lot of discussions. There are so many areas in sports that there's an expectation that the Ministry of Sports should participate in and should do more. And we always have to tussle between how do you spend the very meager resources that you have in sports. Where do you put it? Where would it be best utilized? Do we use it to train brand new athletes that are coming on the scene? Should we put it towards those who are already established and help them to become better? Do you spend it all on facilities? And there's always that headache as to where best, where would you get the best investment in terms of that? So I really hope that that event would not be a one-off, that it would be successful enough so that it can become annual. But coming out of that, that we can probably put another program in place where we can take on board some of our younger and upcoming athletes, where they would not only compete among the best in the world, but that some of the proceeds, and I don't know how much that will be, could be put towards helping to develop an elite group from among the athletes that we have. That in itself, again, would be another positive. So it is not just about the exposure of the country, it is not just about showcasing Grenada and establishing it as an international sports tourism venue, but the parents and the villages can say, well, look, we have another of our athletes, another one walking in the vein of Grenadian games or tackling or any of our international stars. And that of itself, I believe, would be tremendous for us. So again, friends, we are there as a government, as a ministry. Whenever Mr. Mitchell speaks to me and I speak to other people, I always pass on to him ideas that I get. I do not want to be in the front line. It is not our program, it is not our plan. We are just playing a supportive role. And I will always say to them, what do you think about involving this organization or that organization, getting a representative from here or there to assist you and being kept up to date. And I'm very excited as of this time. And I do hope that we will continue to build the momentum, that we will continue to speak about it that we'll continue to prepare for it, and that the government itself will continue to get the support, because as we move to do more, we are actually now looking, in fact, the contracts have been awarded, the contract has now been awarded to an English company to do the lighting of the cricket stadium. We are in negotiations with some local individuals as well who are preparing to bring to Grenada some English teams, starting with college teams, for similar purposes to compete against our locals and to have an event. But more importantly, we are in discussions with regional bodies, business people and otherwise, to see if we can develop our own 2020 franchise here in Grenada, because we recognize if we are to continue to build on the sports tourism trust, we need to invest, one, but we also need to prepare for what is to come. It's a long shot away, but with the lighting, pretty costly. And I think I need to make a correction here, because there's a gentleman who said to me, maybe in error we did say that the cost of the lighting may be $8 million US, but it's actually EC. That was confirmed. It's $8 million EC dollars, yes? And so if there was a little fright in the minds of people, it's not US, so it's about 1.5 times less what we were thinking, $8 million EC dollars. And so, having said that, again, I want to just come in and congratulate Michael and his team. I want to congratulate the LOC and the people who have accepted the offer to be part and parcel of the planning process. And Chris, again, you have to me several times your love and appreciation of this country. I want to, in return, tell you that the people of Grenada love and appreciate you, and we look forward to continue to work with you and to make this event a massive success, and one that will live on for many, many years, maybe long after our time here, you know, as sports administrators and others. Thank you all very much, and let's continue to work together.
Thank you very much, Minister Bhola. Interesting that the Minister should mention an elite program, in fact. At the meeting yesterday with the Athletic Association, that discussion has begun, that the legacy effect of the Grenada Invitational, what can the Grenada Invitational do, apart from just showcasing the athletes on the day, which by the way is the 8th of April 2017, what can be used for the further development of athletics in Grenada, and that conversation has begun.